What's up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 15 of Snap Krackle Pod. I'm Ryan alongside Trevor. As always, don't forget to cut off the box tops because somebody might need that, you know? Somebody at school, a teacher you know. I know a lot of I know one extremely awesome teacher. Just cut the box tops off. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Trevor, how you doing?
It's so awesome to be here alongside with you. Do they still box tops? Is that a thing? Do they still trade them in?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. People are always looking for box tops. Box tops this, box tops that, you know?
Real quick, while we're on the subject of cereal, why don't they put toys in the cereal anymore? Like, I understand why they don't put it in there, but man, the days where you would just open up a box of cereal and you get like a car in there in a little plastic bag, man.
I mean, real talk, cost and liability. You don't want someone choking on your car parts, you know, and obviously it costs a little extra to do that, where you could just put a QR code for them to go to and get a augmented reality game version of whatever. So, but yeah.
Technology. All right. Well, how have you been?
Good. Can't complain. Coming up on, holidays for all those who celebrate, and it's a nice time of year. My daughters are approaching the end of school for the break here, and we're just having a good time watching some holiday movies and, you know, doing all the things that need to be done. Yourself?
Pretty good, man. I feel like every single weekend we have a million things going on, family, friends. Every weekend has been swamped. So every week after a long work week has just felt super intense and just no time for ourselves and really spending time with each other. So we're trying the best we can, but it's definitely a busy time. Well, how has your weekend snap been for you?
Yeah, for me, Team Clash has obviously been a big part of it. I'm knocking out those missions. We're gonna get really in depth into Team Clash in a little bit, but that's definitely been a big part of my week. Other than that, I've been playing. I don't remember if I talked to you on pod or off pod about this, but I've been playing a lot of a Sarah kind of Wade Wilson deck using, Ebony Maw coming back and Wild Child with Gambit, and it's trying to wait till the last turn to do a bunch of things and then get a bunch of your cards up, throwing priority and destroying or Shadow Kinging or whatever to all of their cards. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know how good it is, but I think it'll only get better actually with one of the cards coming out this week, Phantom X, or next week. We'll talk about that. So I've been playing that. I'm in Infinite, just kind of messing around. Gonna make a deck guide on that probably after this video later tonight. We'll see. How about you, Trev?
Full sending Team Clash. It's interesting. It's innovative. It's new. We're here for the inauguration of Team Clash. I'm loving it. Very fun. I've been, for once, trying to follow along with the missions and really try to take advantage of those cycles. Definitely getting a lot of whatever the currency is. I already forget, to be honest. Emblems,
yeah.
But yeah, things are going pretty smoothly with that. The nice thing is the missions are very simple, straightforward. Play cards, play decks, and it's just easy to follow. So I've mostly been doing that, and I played around with that question mark deck that we made together a couple days ago. That's been pretty fun to play with. But other than that, just upgrading cards like crazy, trying to get through these different, just getting them to infinity. Excuse me. Jeez, it's tough out here. But yeah, just been upgrading a lot of stuff. Collection levels going high up, and I'm really just trying to grind and get Series 4 cards and Series 5 cards as I chug along.
Love it. That's a Sauron deck, right? Sauron Zero, all that fun stuff.
I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, we're going to call it a Sauron deck. That sounds good to me.
Love it. Well, cool. Well, I guess we can really just move into Team Clash then, because it's a really interesting mode. I think before we dive into all of the factions and our thoughts on them, overall thoughts on the mode, I know you just kind of mentioned a little bit of yours. I just want to say real quick, I was much lower on this latest version of Grand Arena. We talked about why the precons I thought made things end up feeling like forced precons, made things feel a little samey. This mode, though, this Team Clash, I think has done a really good job of, we talked about a middle ground in Grand Arena. They've really hit that middle ground because 6 cards you need to have. They're all unique. Like, they are new versions of the cards, so that's fun to play with. Maybe that'll get old as we go if they don't introduce new factions, but I think they will. But having those be definitely in and still have precons available for people and the ability to customize the decks a little bit with a limited pool, because some of the decks really want you to play other Avengers, other X-Men. It's just a really great middle ground, and I found the gameplay to be very different every time because of that, and still fun to find all the new combos and all that. It feels very fresh for me.
Oh, it's so much fun. Yeah, I didn't get to play the first day, unfortunately. After I sent a text, I just said, I'm addicted. I just started playing. I started off with the spider deck, and I was 2 games in. I'm like, man, this is too much fun. It's just mind bending, makes you think a different way about certain cards, giving them different abilities, and playing around with that. I honestly didn't know what to think as far as pre-con decks, like how many people were actually going to stick to the uh, pre-con deck and not vary from that whatsoever. I've seen so many different combinations of things, and it's been really fun to see those combinations. I personally have been sticking to the pre-con decks just because, I'm probably better off that way, but it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. I feel like I'm actually making progress in missions and getting these emblems, and for once, I actually feel like I can afford things in the shop, and I'm really grinding as much as I can every day. I think we got 5 days as of this recording left, so I still got plenty of time to get these different items in the item shop. So we'll see what I end up getting.
Along those lines, I love that they have missions this time. I think they're kind of leaning towards making all of these limited time game modes have very similar prizing structures and rewards now. Like, they started off all different, and now this mode has missions and a reward track and a shop. And the reason I like that is because normally I will find the best deck and optimize and min-max, like I've told you, and like go all out like Black Panther and Grand Arena. But because the missions, which are the best way to get the currency, encourage you to play different decks, now I'm playing all 5 because I need to get the missions. And that, if that wasn't there to force me to do it, I would be like, oh, whatever, Thunderbolts is the best. I'm going to play only Thunderbolts, but I'm not. So I do like that they're doing that.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So let's start first then with X-Men. We'll start by just taking a look at the pre-con, and then I might go over what changes I made in my version of the deck. But talk about the X-Men pre-con and what you like about it, Trev.
Like I said, for all these decks, everything is pre-con for me, so I did not vary much. I like the concept of building a deck around getting bonus energy. I did find that it was easy to get bonus energy, and I was boosting up Human Torch, obviously this version of Human Torch. I found Team Clash Wolverine to be the most fun card in this precon, because every time it gets destroyed, it's just gaining power and moving, and that's just a fun deck, and it's really throwing off your opponents. But I found a lot of good continuity and chemistry amongst the cards in this deck, and I found Legion to actually be a really fun component in it as well, because the locations in this game mode, for whatever reason, work really well with Legion, I feel, and it can just absolutely change the game as a whole. Overall, I actually really did enjoy playing this deck. I didn't find myself playing Jubilee too often or Magneto. I found myself playing pretty much every other card, taking advantage of Sunspot whenever I wasn't using all that energy, and that was just contributing to added power elsewhere. So I found this deck to be pretty fun. I don't know if we're going to rank these or give them grades, but what do you think? Should we?
Why don't we go like, we'll rank them, your own personal rankings, because I'm sure we'll have different rankings, yeah.
Okay. I feel like let's go through the 5 decks first, maybe, because I feel like I have to walk through them before I can rank them. Maybe that's the way to go.
Why don't we rank all at the end? We'll just give our thoughts, and then at the end we'll rank.
Sounds good. Your
okay,
thoughts?
So X-Men, It's a really interesting deck. First, I want to say I'm glad that you get to play with Legion because I don't think you own Legion. And it's one of the best part about these precons is it lets players like you play with cards you wouldn't have been able to yet. And Legion is like one of my favorite cards in the game. It's so much fun to scam people with locations. Like, here, have some squirrels. Here, you can't play here on turn 6, and I've already won. You know, it's I love Legion. But yeah, here's the deck that I played. The only things I changed, I kept Sunspot and Jim Hammond, but I added in a bunch of non-X-Men in this deck. Most of the time, I kept the same faction, but Shuri, Symbiote Spider-Man, the Fallen One, and Arnim Zola is a great combo for the X-Men build because it's kind of like in my Nimrod deck, you're just using Fallen One sometimes to get a ton of extra energy. If you play Symbiote Spider-Man and then you merge it into the Fallen One, you get 12 energy, which turns into 13 on the next turn. So then that all soaks into Sunspot. Jim Hammond gets a big buff at the beginning of the turn. You know, Wolverine goes off. Like all the things kind of like key off of that. So that's what I'm trying to do. Most of the changes I've made to these decks, I've only made one change at the beginning and haven't gone in and fine-tuned it. I'm sure there's a better version of this deck, but I'm just having so much fun, and it's most of the missions are easy enough, like play a match, play these cards. There's only a couple times you get to win, you know, that you have to win. So I've been happy with this, and it's a fun deck. I like the X-Men deck.
I like the Fallen One added into there. Honestly, I always forget that card even exists. I know it's a newer card overall, but
Yeah.
when you don't own these cards, sometimes you just don't know what's out there because it's just analysis paralysis. Sometimes you got like 500 cards to choose from.
Yeah, totally. No question about it. All right, well let's move on to the next faction then, if we're good on X-Men. Avengers. Let's take a look at the precon again, and Avengers get that power where when you play on an Avengers lane, one of the other Avengers there gets +1 power. What are your thoughts on this deck type?
I love this. This was one of my favorite factions. I found myself playing this over and over again. Combinations like Team Clash, Hawkeye, even throwing Doctor Strange in there. Those were such fun cards where you could really take advantage of the potential power in this deck. The card that I found myself every single time I was in, whenever I could play it, Captain Carter is going in and it's boosting everything. I found myself making a lot of good combinations there. So this is why this deck has been so good to me so far. That little Captain Carter combination with pretty much any other cards and boosting up the back row. I mean, that's what has been winning me all the games or matches whenever I play this faction. This is definitely one of my favorite factions to play. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I love it. I'm happy that you're playing with Captain Carter. That's one of the cards I think you should save up for your Surfer deck, because Captain Carter is awesome in Surfer. I mean, obviously. It's kind of made for that deck. That card actually released as a 4-drop, so it was not as good. It had more power at the outset, but as a Surfer card, yeah. So I do really like the Avengers deck. To me, it feels like the kind of the baseline easiest deck to play, probably, just because you're just playing Snap. You're playing cards on top of cards, and this Team Clash Hawkeye is so much fun. I mean, the original Hawkeye stinks, but this version is, you're constantly triggering on it. You're playing Jeff on it, moving it off so you have room, and then you're playing, you know, Team Clash Doctor Strange, which is moving the Hawkeye. Now you're getting triggers on 2 locations. It's a really fun little addition that they made there. My version of the deck is pretty much the same idea. I kept Jeff and Captain Carter, and I switched out for some other Avengers. I kept all Avengers because the bonus is too good here. Ant-Man I thought was a good inclusion. Sam Wilson is really nice because he puts a shield out there that you can move around, and that helps when you're, you know, trying to position and use it with Captain Carter. I added Shang-Chi just because Shang-Chi is an Avenger here, so like, why not? And Valkyrie is one that I just love Valkyrie, so I wanted to try it out with the Ant-Man synergy, and it's a little awkward sometimes because you're not getting bonus energy in this deck, but also Team Clash Hulk gets really big, so that's nice to use as well. It's a fun little deck.
Listen, I'm just glad you didn't disown Jeff and your little your own version of this deck. I was really worried when you said you subbed out a few cards.
No, Jeff had to stay. Jeff has a really good really good synergy with Team Clash Hawkeye. So had to stay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next faction, which is Thunderbolts. This was my early favorite. They did nerf it since I started playing it. I know you didn't play on day one. This deck was even dumber on day one. This slide is actually outdated. This is from last week. They now reveal with +1 power locations you're losing. When it was +2, it was gross. What are your thoughts?
I'm well aware. I really wish I had played it when it first opened up, because +2 power, I could see that being much better with this deck. I really struggled with this deck so far. I haven't got to play a lot of it because, again, missions just haven't really been too focused on Thunderbolts. But I did make sure that I played it a few times. I probably played it a good 6 to 8 matches, somewhere in that range. And honestly, I'm not going to rank it yet, but I don't love it where it's at right now. I didn't find myself really having too much fun playing this deck. The Taskmaster in there is pretty nice, and the different version of Sentry is kind of fun, but I just found myself getting into so many situations with the different locations where I'm like, man, I cannot use this deck the way that it's intended to be used. The combinations just, I don't know if I was just having bad matches, bad opponent play. It just was not working out for me, honestly.
Yeah, no, understandable. It was much better, and it's a trickier deck to play. It's kind of like, you're trying to key in on losing locations, so then you want to play the Hood and Valentina, but then that feels bad, and then it's awkward when you're playing against the Guardians, which we'll get to, because it's like, where do I play? I don't even know where to play. Do I help them out? So I get it. It's in an awkward spot. What I ended up doing with my version of this deck, and I didn't change it since the nerf, I took out the Hood, Hulkbuster, Viper, Absorbing Man, and I guess I took out everything except Claw and Red Hulk. And I ended up bringing in Electra, because I think Electra is probably the best card in this mode, and it's a Thunderbolt. Because, it's going to hit Sunspot. It's going to hit the Hawkeyes. It has a Jim Hammond. It hits, I think, some of the Guardians cards. It hits Agony and the Spider-Verse deck. It just has a lot of targets. So that I added. Iron Fist, I just wanted a 1-drop since the deck doesn't have any naturally. Baron Zemo hasn't been that great, but it'll bring in a card from their deck. Claw was fine to keep. Leader has been the big winner for me, because you want to play from behind in this deck a little bit, so you're losing locations, and then Leader will just copy their biggest play on the last turn. And as long as you have another location you're winning, you can sometimes just scam them out with that. So deck got a little worse, but Winter Soldier is really great. Taskmaster, if you ever get extra energy and you can play Red Hulk on 5, then Taskmaster's just gigantic for you on 6. So it's kind of where I've been going with that. Right. It's not as good as it once was, but I still enjoy it. And I think I can probably build a better custom, but I need to get back to it.
Looks like a pretty solid custom to me. You got me sold on it.
Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't do the Viper thing, though, and that makes Valentina really bad. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to think about it. Maybe this needs to be an Annihilus deck. But for now, that's what I've been rocking. All right, well, let's move on then to Guardians of the Galaxy. Here's a look at the pre-con. This is a tricky one. What do you think, Trev?
There's a lot of mind games with this one. At first, whenever I realized that there was a highlighted location, and obviously you're going to get +1 power at that glowing location, I was like, okay, this is great. I'm pretty much going to get +1 power every single time. Then I realized the first time that I played against this deck that your opponent can also see where the glowing location is. I did not realize that at first. So that played some mind games with myself, and it plays mind games with your opponents, which can be good or bad. And I find this to be the case with a lot of Guardian decks, Guardian cards. You're really going for, I won't say a 50-50 shot, but you're leaving things up to chance. You're not going entirely based off skill. You want opponents to play at the same location or same lane that you do, and the deck's very heavily dependent on that. Now, I still found this deck to be really fun. There were a lot of combinations that worked really nicely for me. Having Nebula in here, Adam Warlock, nice little boost along the way. I did actually enjoy this deck. There is some clunkiness to it, and if you're not hitting those lanes properly the way they need to, this deck can kind of crumble pretty quickly. But overall, still fun. I didn't enjoy it as much as the Guardians in Grand Arena, but still a decent deck, we'll say.
Yeah, I I found it to be, like you said, a big guessing game, especially on the early turns. Most opponents now, when you play against them and you're playing a Guardians deck, they don't play on the glowing location in the early turns. So I'm always playing on another one and hoping I win the 50-50. But I don't know. It always kind of feels bad when that doesn't happen. The custom deck I built, I kept Nebula, kept Adam, and then I switched out everything else for some other Guardians. Medusa just seemed like a nice thing to play because it's going to be a 2/5 in the middle, and sometimes that's the glowing location, so it's a 2/6. Rocket and Groot is great in this deck because you can just move it around and try to catch them playing wherever. Cosmo I included because it was a Guardian, but I don't actually think it's right in here. I'm probably going to switch that because it just hurts your own on reveals. This deck is full of on reveals. So I was like, oh, maybe it can really shut down, some of those Avengers decks or Spider-Verse, but it didn't end up being that great. Sarah is definitely one I'll keep because it's great to play Gamora and Drax in the last turn since you have Sarah down. I think the Team Clash Gamora has been my favorite. You just play it on the last turn, you know where they're playing, and either way, you're usually hitting something pretty big in this mode. Even though it's the lowest power card, it does a huge job cleaning up lanes for you. So it's a little tricky. It's fun. I think there's a better build out there. And I think the precon actually is just pretty solid for this one. So yeah, fun overall, but hard to play.
Can we just take a second real quick? Nebula, Adam Warlock, Medusa, and Sarah. Oh my gosh, dude, those variants are so sick.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like those.
It's so cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They're some of my favorites, so I'm with you. Although I like your Nebula.
Right,
We've talked about it.
Let's move on to the next one.
Oh, I see what you did there. Spider-Verse. Yeah, this was, I think I called it out as what I thought would be the strongest deck, and I don't know that it got there for me, but what are your thoughts?
I'm not going to say it's the strongest deck, but it's the most fun deck for me. I love combinations, and this one for me had the most combinations, most going on. I had to think about it a little bit more than any other deck. To me, it felt like playing chess. And in chess, there's millions of different combinations. Here, there's a lot of movement back and forth, a lot of activating going on. I just found this one really fun. It's actually the one I started off on. But I just love all the cards that were included in this. And may I say, Man Spider was very fun to play. And
Yeah.
Agony was also very fun to play. I just really, really enjoyed this deck. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it. Love that you're playing Man Spider. That's obviously one of my favorite cards. And Agony is a really, favorite of mine, even though it's a different Agony. It's really interesting combinations. I generally am not a move player, so I get a little annoyed when I'm forced to play move. But I had my fun with the deck, and it allowed me to play one of your favorite cards, I think, which is Prowler. I added in Prowler in my list, which is maybe something you could do. You have Prowler, so you could take out something you don't like in the bottom row and add a Prowler. It's definitely really good in here because you're moving all the time. Silk I kept Vulture, and then I added in Spider-Punk and Ezekiel Sims. Yeah, for me, it's just not my favorite thing to do. The one I felt really awkward was Team Clash Anti-Venom, because sometimes you'll hit something that you can't move, so it just stays a 0 the whole game. And it's a 4 cost you're playing, so you don't have that much time. So that one I think they kind of missed on. They needed to make it cheaper or a different ability. So I think some of the stuff just didn't work. Maybe I should have kept Man Spider in. I just didn't want to do it if it didn't have all of the synergy from what I'm used to playing with Man Spider. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite and wasn't as strong as I thought it would be, but I can see why people would like this deck.
Absolutely. Yeah, I almost totally forgot about the anti-venom, even mentioning that because I really didn't find myself playing it a whole lot. Obviously, you're forced into playing it, but yeah, I don't know. This deck was really fun for me.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can rank then. We can give our own rankings on these 1 to 5. What's your favorite out of the 5? Or well, let's
Favorite out
start
of
at
the
the
five.
start at the bottom. Start at the bottom. What are we doing? 5 to 1.
Let's go back and forth. We'll go back and forth here.
Okay.
For my 5, I am pitching Thunderbolts as my
I
number
know.
5. But in all fairness, I got it after the nerf.
Mhm.
So I'm still putting it at 5 though. It's just the one I've enjoyed the least, to be completely honest. Based on the pre-cons, of course, you're playing different combinations, but for me, I just haven't had any success with this deck. It just hasn't been as fun as the other ones for me. And I know it's kind of, I don't want to call it the meta, but I don't know. I just haven't enjoyed it as much. It's number 5 for me.
Fair enough. For me, I kind of talked about it, but Spider-Verse, I just don't enjoy playing move decks most of the time. They have to be doing something really unique for me to get into it, and it's just too much. It's too much forward planning. I like I like a more simple game plan, or I like countering you. So for me, not my favorite play style, but every now and then it's okay to play. And you know what? Let's give a shout out to the Spider-Man 2099 here because I was afraid we were just going to keep the same ability that never works correctly how you want it to, and this one was nice, just adding a bunch of power at the end. So yeah.
And Spider-Punk was very fun. It was my first time playing with him. Very fun
Oh,
card.
awesome.
And my number 4, actually, you know what was funny? I like how you brought up Thunderbolts before I even said what mine was. That was funny. For number 4, I'm gonna go Guardians of Galaxy. It's just too finicky. It's too up to chance, which can be fun, can be interesting, but for me, it wasn't meshing well this time around. It's still, like I said, it's interesting, but it just wasn't for me. It's my number 4.
Yeah, it's my number 4 as well. I just found it to be a little too unpredictable. Um, and it's annoying to play against, which I think also brings it a peg down for me. I'm like, oh, man, like, do I? Are you gonna guess that I'm gonna guess that you're not gonna go in the glowing lane? Am I gonna guess the correct lane that you're in? Like, it's a little bit too much of a guessing game for me. I do enjoy. I could play Sarah here because I love Sarah, but overall, 4 for me.
All right, that would be number 3. For number 3, it's gonna be X-Men for me. Yes, number 3. Yep. It's definitely a fun deck. I found a lot of different ways to build up some energy here. I found this one to be pretty fun overall. I'd say just a tad bit clunky again, so it's landing at 3 for me. But there are a lot of fun cards in here, but there's a few cards in here where I just didn't find myself playing them very often, and they just didn't make sense based on the pre-con. So I feel like if I subbed a couple cards out here and made it my own, I would probably be putting this 1 or 2, but based on pre-con, I'm going 3.
Yeah, fair enough. My number 3 would have been my number 1 pre-nerf, but ends up here at 3. Thunderbolt's just not quite as strong anymore. Can do some fun little things with the deck, but it does get less powerful, less predictable because of the nerf, and less power overall. But I like being able to play leader again because that's a card that can be fun, and it's trash in the regular game mode. So yeah, we'll give it a 3.
Also, love the gold borders on all the
Yeah,
the Team Clash cards. I think it looks so sick.
yeah, they do look really nice, and they have the diamond. You get the diamonds that you get on the Thunderbolts for level 30 mastery. So that's cool to be able to play with those on all these cards.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Hmm?
Number 2 for me, based on how I kind of hyped it up, I'm going to go Avengers. Avengers is number 2 for one and only one reason. I feel like it is too easy / too boring to play. It's good, but for me, it's almost boring because I know what I'm going to do before the turn even starts. Whenever I draw, I know what I'm doing. I don't even have to think about it. So it's going to land at number 2 for me. But if it were a little bit, well, no, more complex, or I had to think about it a little bit more, this would be my number 1. I'm getting cards absolutely blasted up in power with this deck. And there's so many good combinations, but it just was too straightforward. So for
Yeah.
me, it's number 2. But overall, to me, this was the most powerful deck for me.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. I think it's also my number 2, and I feel very similarly. The Thor, I kind of wish that I know that it draws you closer to the hammer, but I was wishing that it had a way to just get the hammer. I know that's kind of broken, but um, still get lots of games where I never saw it and just kind of felt like a dead play. But overall, very strong, puts out a lot of power, and it's nice playing with Captain Carter, Valkyrie. Those cards are fun, and Jeff's back, so good for Jeff. Can't argue with a good Jeff the Baby Land Shark deck. So that would make your number 1 Spider-Verse?
Spiders, which would be your number 5. You know, I like my move decks. It's just, it's fun. I like the combinations. I liked the way the gameplay was meant for this deck. The other thing I didn't mention was Madam Web really made this deck fun for me. I was playing a lot of Silk with it, a lot of Spider Punk. Spider Punk with Madam Web was so fun. I just loved moving one thing away from there every single turn. Spider-Man 2099, I couldn't agree with you more. I really like this iteration of it. Scarlet Spider was a nice little like turn 5, turn 6 activate, kind of mess around with people. And obviously having Craven in there is a nice little bonus as well. I just love this deck.
I just realized they must have added Spider-Punk in when they made the adjustment after day 1, because our picture up there does not include Spider-Punk. So I think they must have swapped that for something. But that's good. I'm glad you got to play with the card. Maybe Penny?
Yeah,
maybe Penny's not in the deck anymore?
No, Penny's definitely in the deck because I got Penny quite a lot.
Man, Spider
It's
synergy, that makes
either
sense.
actually, I gotta take it back. It's either Vulture or Craven. I honestly don't know which one it is off the top of my head, but I know for a fact all the other cards are in there. I actually want to say it's Craven that's not in there, and that's so bad because I shouted him.
I just checked. They actually took out Vulture and Craven, and it is Aranya and Spider-Punk. So, yeah.
Aranya, yeah, there it is.
All right, fair enough. Well, then that leaves my final number 1. And if you're following along at home, it's actually X-Men. I did not expect this to be my favorite, but I found it to be such a different playstyle from all the rest of the decks. You know, being able to just shove a ton of extra energy into your cards after the fact was super satisfying. Even Jubilee. And I think the Fallen one is really what makes the deck fun for me. If I was playing the pre-built, I don't think it would be as satisfying, but being able to just get a huge Fallen one. Plus, then there's like, you know, Kamar Taj comes down. I'm getting double on reveals. Shuri happens twice. I've also done Symbiote Spider-Man in like a Limbo game into Shuri on a Kamar Taj. So then I was just getting like a 30 power Fallen one. I had 30 energy the last turn. And then Jim Hammond got huge. Sunspot soaked it all. Jubilee gave it to the card that flipped. And, you know, it was just a blast. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this deck.
Definitely a lot of fun. If Fallen 1 was in there, like the pre-con, or I'd throw it in there, I would say this would probably be my number 1, to be completely honest.
Nice. All right, well, that's Team Clash. Really happy that they did things the way they did, and I hope that they continue to iterate, and it's a fun game mode for future iterations, so I'm down for it. All right.
I love it.
Cool. Well, let's move on to our second to last topic today. That was a kind of beefier one. Let's talk about the upcoming cards. I think because, you know, the holidays are coming up, we'll go over the card that releases this week, which by the time this releases, probably today or yesterday, it is Aurora. This card, kind of complicated. Series 5 card, 6/6. On reveal, it gives one of your other on reveal cards at each location +2 power. And then you repeat that ability for all the other big effects: ongoing, activate, and end of turn. I think the easiest way to think about this is it's like Spectrum, but instead of just hitting ongoing cards, it hits one at each location of all of these 4 effects instead of just ongoing abilities. Real quick, thoughts on it from you, or like you're still not quite understanding where the card, settles?
I'm thinking I like it. I just need a little bit of clarification or maybe an example because I obviously understand the first sentence of it.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. What I don't understand is what repeats. How does the repeating process happen? Because does it repeat for all ongoing activate and end of turn?
It'll do it. So if you just ignore the repeat for a second, and like you said, the first ability, let's say that you have an on reveal card at each location that is an Aurora, like just each location has an on reveal, they'll all get +2. So then you take the next chunk and say, put ongoing up there. Give one of your other ongoing cards at each location +2 power. If you have an ongoing at each location, they'll all get +2. Then it does it for activate and then end of turn. Where this gets kind of potentially out of control is if you have, there are a couple cards in the game that have multiple abilities on it. So like Zombie Mr. Fantastic has an on reveal and an activate. Some of the Thanos stones have on reveals and ongoing on it. So those cards will get this bonus twice for having each of those abilities. They pull double duty because you have to have cards in the lanes, and if you have that there, it'll count for an ongoing and an on reveal, whatever it happens to be. So this could put out up to, let's see, if it did it for, if you had an on reveal, an ongoing, and activate, and an end of turn in each location, that would be 24 extra power. So I think the max this could give would be 630, but that's not really possible because Aurora's taking up a spot in one lane. So maybe say 628 worth of power. That's not going to happen. You're not going to have all those different cards on the board, but it can get pretty sizable if you build your deck around this. I just don't know how practical that'll be.
So my last question for clarification is, what if I have an on reveal at 2 locations, but not the third location? Does it just not give +2 power to those 2 cards, or do you have to have an on reveal at all 3 locations?
No, you don't have to. It'll just do basically up to 1 at each location. Okay. If you have only one at 2, those will get them, but then just nothing will happen in the third location for the on reveal, portion of it. So yeah, a lot of potential with this card, but I think it's really hard to know how it's going to land without playing with it. Because it's like, how easy is that to do? What decks are going to be able to play all these different abilities packed into one deck? A lot of time you're just playing an on-reveal deck or an ongoing deck. There are probably some decks in the game that play a lot of those different abilities, but how many of those are on the board? And is Aurora the best thing to do on turn 6? I don't know.
Yeah, I think once they get more into the hybrid types of cards, I think this card will definitely get more interesting. It seems like that's the direction they're leaning with it.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I'm looking forward to trying it out, but I don't know that it will end up being as, as popular, just because you need the right style of deck for it to get enough power to be worth playing, taking up your whole turn 6 to play. I think there is potential, maybe a Wong deck, because then you're getting this going off twice. And that could get out of, even like, Silver Surfer First Steps. That card could double this up, and then if you have that all in an ongoing, I don't know, maybe there's something there. Maybe I'll brew one up. We'll see how it goes. But that's Aurora. Let's talk about Phantom X. This card releases next week, 12/30, but I don't know for sure when we're recording next with all the holidays. So let's just talk about this now, especially because that'll set us up cleanly for talking about the next season, the next time we record, because this finishes off this particular season of cards. Phantom X, this is the final card in the kind of discard-destroy hybrid that they've been pushing this season. It's a 4/6. It has an activate. If you've had cards discarded and destroyed this game, afflict front row enemy cards at each location with -2 power. So if this goes off and your opponent has cards in the front row, 2 cards in each front row, then this is a total of 2, 4, 4, 8, 12. This is a 418 worth of power, which is a lot. Countered by Luke Cage, of course. But what are your thoughts on this card?
Seems kind of broken.
I
I don't
think.
know. Just kind of looking at it, it wouldn't be that hard to discard one card. It wouldn't be hard to destroy a card, and you could probably do it at a pretty dang low cost. So the fact that you can play this card and potentially get 418 out of it is pretty crazy to me. I don't know. It seems kind of broken to me.
Yeah, its top end is definitely scary. I've played, like I said, the Sarah deck I'm playing has Wild Child in it to try to take advantage of the if you've discarded and destroyed, and it's not completely built to do that, but it still happens enough that Wild Child is a 2/9 a decent amount of the time. So I think this ability is possible to pull off, and any deck that's trying to do that is going to play this card because the potential for it is huge. Now, the only downside is it is a 4-cost activate, and those have hard timing windows. Because if you play this on any turn other than 4 or 5, like, you can't play it earlier. And if you play it on 6, it does nothing. So you need to play it in the right time. You need to make sure that you discard and destroy. And then you need to hope they don't have Luke Cage. So if all those things happen, yes, it has the potential to be very broken. You just need to make sure that everything lines up.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Luke Cage definitely came to my mind. Also came to my mind was Diamondback, though. Could be kind of fun combination.
This would be fun in an all-out affliction deck. Yeah, find a way to get something destroyed and discarded, and I could see Diamondback definitely helping this card out. I'm going to try it out. I'm definitely excited for it. But we'll see. I think we're going to see a lot of it, which means in week 1 we might see a lot of Luke Cage. So maybe I'll wait until a couple weeks from now like I usually do and wait to make my brew then. But all right. That's all the cards for this season, which means next season we'll talk about dragons. Here there be dragons. That brings us to our final topic. Are you ready for some blind rankings, Trev?
Always am. Let's get it.
All right. I'll go first. I'll give you mine first, just to give you some expectations there. I'm going to start off with a card. Oh my gosh, I just deleted it from... You know what? You're going to get a random card then, because the one I was going to do for you, I just lost, and I don't know what it was. All right. Whatever card this is that I clicked on right now with my eyes closed is what you're going to get. All right. I think I've given you this card before, but there you go. Dawkin is your first card.
Dawkin. I actually just got this card. I texted you the one day that was one of my Series 4 cards that I got in the pack. I actually haven't used it yet. I was never too impressed with it. 3/4. Bring up the sword real quick.
Sure.
Ebony. No, it's not Ebony Blade. Sorry.
That's Black Knight's blade.
Yeah, I'll put it at number 4.
Okay. All right. Your next card then is going to be Black Bolt.
I really haven't played much discard. Actually, I don't think I played any discard because I don't have enough discard cards that I can really make a full deck out of. And I don't really know how I use this. 5, 7. Discards are at the cost from least from your hand. Since it's a 5/7, I'll just put it at 3. I feel like there's probably something worse. There's probably something worse for me here.
Legion's talking in your ear saying to play 5/7s. I like it. All right. Let's go next to a little card called Miles Morales.
Oh man, I really like this card. It's fun. You know me, my move decks. Going from a 4/6 to a 1/6, it's pretty inevitable. If you have a move deck, you're getting this to a 1/6. That's a pretty high upside, and there's a lot of different combinations you can throw in there as well. And I know how much you like this variant in the Krackle on it, and it is pretty sick, though. Dare I put it number 1? I'll put it number 1. I don't think there's anything better than this card. I don't think you have anything better for me.
I think you're cooking. Here. Let's give you your next card, which is Morph.
Yeah, you're not giving me anything better than Miles Morales. I just know it. I'll put it at 5. I'm not crazy about this card. I'm just not.
All right, so that leaves your final card as going to be the 2. And that is Leech. You were totally right. Miles was the best card I gave you.
I knew it. You were setting me up for failure.
In this case, success.
Is this a variant?
Yeah, it's a variant. There's all kinds of weird Leech variants out there, man. I think that... What is the main Leech card? This is the base Leech. Nobody plays this card.
Okay.
This card used to be a scourge of the game. It's been nerfed into oblivion. So there's Leech.
Yeah, at number 2, not crazy about that, but I'm okay because I got Miles Morales at 1, so we'll take that.
Fair enough. All right, what you got for me, Trev?
I took a different approach. Surprise, surprise. Hopefully you can still look up these cards. I went all my favorite Team Clash cards from each deck.
Ooh. Oh, so you want the Team Clash versions?
Yes.
All right,
you be able to pull those?
I can make that work. Let's experiment here. All right, go ahead, hit me with the first one.
I knew it might be a problem.
No, we can make this work. I got him.
Okay, well, it's definitely not Toxie Doxie.
Toxie. Oh, hold on. Toxie Doxie's great in that deck because you're gonna have all Thunderbolts, so it just gives you a buff. It's great.
Hey, I understand that, but I said my favorite card from each deck.
All right. What you got?
Starting off with the spiders, we're going Team Clash Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, I like this one. I think I'm going to give it a 4 only because, well, I like the ability and I like that they made this card playable. It's still a Spiders card, and that's not my favorite, so we'll go 4.
Well, you know I'm picking all my favorites, so there's probably something better.
Yes.
I don't know if you're definitely not going to agree with this, but honestly, it was personally my favorite from when I played it. It's the Thunderbolts deck. We got Sentry.
No, I like it. You know what? This card most of the time just felt like a 4/9 because I just had Thunderbolts in all the locations when I played it. I would because I wasn't playing a Viper build, so it was always a 4/9, which was just solid, just fine. Great to play a Taskmaster after. So I'll give this a 3. We'll give it a 3. I should have given Spider-Man 29 a 5, but we'll give that a 3. So I've locked up my 3 and 4.
Fair. All right, we're heading over to, gosh, would this be Avengers? Sorry. This would be Hawkeye.
Yeah, the Hawkeye is really good. I'm going to give it a 2 just because I think I know what your 1 is going to be for me. And I don't want to give it a 5, obviously, so we'll go 2.
We're going Guardians of the Galaxy next. What do you think I'm going to pick?
I'm going to guess you're going Gamora, but...
It's Gamora. Gamora's the best card in that deck.
And here's the problem, is Gamora I really like in this deck, and I don't want to give it a 5, but I know that I want the X-Men to be my number 1, probably. You know what? I'm going to give Gamora the 1. We're going to pivot hard here. I don't want to give it the 5. I really like the design of this card. I love that you're going to play it on the last turn and get value. So, yeah. Going to give it the 1.
I think you know who my X-Men favorite's going to be. I think I hyped it up a little bit.
I think it's Wolverine. It's Wolverine. Which is
Wolverine,
not my favorite of the deck, actually, because I found it annoying to like be bouncing out of locations. It was unpredictable at the end of the game. It's like, well, if I'm going to float here, am I going to lose this location because Wolverine's not in it anymore?
But it was getting huge.
It was getting huge, but so was my Fallen one.
Okay, great. You have Fallen one. You're rich.
I'm
sorry.
No.
I'm just weak.
I'm just telling you my truth, okay?
This was my favorite card from this deck. Out of all the cards in all the decks, this was actually my favorite. So this would be my number 1. It would.
Good. I like it. I'm happy that you. I'm happy you liked it as well. Fun exercise. I'm glad you picked those.
I didn't keep track of this very well, but you put Gamora as number 1, Hawkeye is 2, Sentry is 3, Spider-Man 2099 as 4, and Wolverine as 5.
Yep. Yes, sir. Love it. All right, well, that was blind ranking. Yeah, we did it. That was a show. Let's just real quick talk question of the week, which I almost forgot about, but I didn't. So here's question of the week. And since we're at the end of the year, I think this is appropriate to look ahead to 2026. Bright future for this game still, I think, even with some of the doomsaying. So what is the number one thing for you? Feature, mode, card, anything, ability. What's the number one thing you would like Second Dinner to add to Marvel Snap in 2026?
Add to Marvel Snap. We can't take away?
If the thing you want to change about the game is taking something away, then please, by all means, that would be a totally valid choice.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure if this does or does not exist, but it would be really cool if whenever there are these game modes that you could play friendlies against your friends.
That's a really solid, that would be fun for us, for sure. I would love to be able to play you in the LTGMs. Yeah, and I would love if you could knock out missions that way too, because it's up for a week. Like, who cares? Like, let us do the missions with friendlies. That's a really great point, and the fact that they're doing so many modes now would be great to be able to do that. I think that's on their list, so we'll see if that actually comes.
My only counterpoint, I don't think they should be able to do missions in friendlies. The reason why is because I could go get my laptop or my computer or my desktop or whatever, download Marvel Snap, different account, play against my opponent, which would be me, and I could win every single time. So I would prefer that there would be no missions for that, because that would be broken. But I don't care. Let everybody get their stuff. But
so
that would be my one count.
I know what you mean for sure. I just meant in mode missions, not game missions where you're getting currency. Like, in mode missions, who cares? Because those are already like, play X amount of cards or play game. There are obviously some that make you win, but like, I feel like that's low stakes enough and the modes are short enough that those ones would be okay to do when they even are around, because there are only missions in this and high voltage, I think. So yeah, fair point. I think that's really good.
I'm sorry for being so abrasive. What is your biggest change for the game that you
I don't think that'll. Before I give mine, I want to give a shout out to our dude Puente Contente for always commenting, leaving a great comment last week. Awesome inclusion of your holiday movies, so I just want to point that out. My number one thing I want to add to the game would be, and this is, I think, a lot of people's choice, would be a draft mode. And I want it to, I really want it to be, by the way, a draft mode or an auto battler, because those are my favorite style of games outside of card games, of the collectible card games. I loved playing Limited back in Magic the Gathering. I really enjoyed it. Arena and Hearthstone. I love that style of game. I love being able to draft from a pack and then build a deck. And this game has so many cards now that I think you could do it. And I know that there's a way to monetize it. And I don't want it to be like there's a draft mode for a week. Like, I want it to be an actual mode in game. So when I'm not feeling the ladder, I want to just go and do something different, then that's here. I don't have to go and play a different game or, whatever to try to get that part of my brain firing. So really need a draft mode. I know that they are working on one. They've said as much. It's just they said they want to get it right, and who knows how long that'll take. But hopefully it comes in 2026.
I like that a lot, actually. I love draft when I play Clash Royale. Mm-hmm. They had a draft mode and I always really liked it, but I would find it very, very fun if they were to add a draft mode that whenever you picked a card, you would be given two options. You would pick, how many cards are in Snap? Is it 16?
In a deck's 12.
12, whatever. You pick 6, and you pick 6 more for your opponent. So you have 2 cards that are presented to you. You pick the one that you want in your deck. The other one goes to the opponent's deck. So you're not picking all 12.
That's interesting. That could be an interesting wrinkle to the mode.
It's spicy on them.
All right, love it. Well, we'll see, and I've got many more things, so maybe we'll do another segment like this next time we record. We'll see, because I think there's some things this game could definitely improve, and it's a fun game, but there's always room to improve. So awesome. If you have any thoughts on what you'd like to see in Snap in 2026, go ahead and leave a comment down below. We're happy to interact with you and just chat about this game that we love. So thanks so much for watching the video, Trevor. Next week, we're talking about dragons, man. We're going to look ahead to the dragon season. It's going to be fun. There's some really big, crazy dragons coming to the game. Get excited.
Can I say dragons are overrated? Charizard should never be the most popular Pokemon of all time. It's so overrated.
I agree with that.
But this will be cool. This will be a good season. I can just feel it in my jellies.
It'll be fun, and I know you have no idea what the cards are, so this will be fun to go over them with you.
Nope.
Love it. All right, well, where can everybody find you if they're looking to find your stuff, Trevor?
In your local penitentiary. No, I'm in the comment section.
Good. Join us down there. Chat about. I'm talking to you, Four Knuckle. Talking to you, Puente, Contente, and other people. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. I'll be putting out some more videos. I got some deck guides brewing. Trevor, any non-Snap advice this week? I think you got some.
I got two. I got a bonus one for you today.
All right.
First one is going to be, reach out to your family, your friends during the holidays, check on them, see what they're up to. You just never know what somebody's going through, and, reaching out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while or someone that might need that little extra communication could go a really long way. So give that a shot. Next is, I don't care how old you are or how out of the game you are, Phillip Rivers right now is slinging at the age of 44. He is 15 for 24 with 2 passing touchdowns and only 1 sack, no interceptions, no fumbles. He hasn't ran the ball, but hey, he's out there slinging against Brock Purdy.
Wow. I've not seen that. By the time this comes out, who knows? Maybe he had an insane stat line. That's pretty exciting. Go Phillip Rivers.
No, but he's still out there. That's the most important thing. He's out there.
He's doing him. All right, I love it. Well, awesome. Thanks for that advice. Thanks for recording, Trevor. It's a pleasure as always. You have an amazing holiday season. I'm sure I'll see you in a couple days.
Same to you. I'm going to fly off to space, but I'll catch you there.
Okay. Fly off to space. Go ahead. Wow. You know what? Good one.
What do I got to do to get my face on the cereal box, by the way?
I'll add it next week. I'll put a little caricature of you up here and a little caricature of me up here,
No, I need to be next to Caliente.
Puente Contente? You want? Ooh, maybe I should put a quote from Puente Contente on the box, like, "This cereal's great." Puente Contente. Have you ever read what's on the box, by the way?
No, I can't read it. It's too small.
The words on the box? Let's see. Please do not actually ingest this cereal. I mean, it's not really even cereal. This box exists, at least in a Schrodinger kind of way, but let's get real. Ryan and Trevor wouldn't know the first thing about making cereal. They can barely figure out how to record a podcast remotely, because, how do you even make cereal? It has to include a bunch of processes that are too complicated to even name here. Factories are built just for making Cheerios, and that's wild to think about. On a different note, have you ever thought about how you'd go about throwing away an outdoor garbage barrel? You'd think it'd be simple, but once upon a time, I had one that was irrevocably damaged, but not outwardly. I think my plan was to put a note on top saying, "Trash, please take the can," but that didn't work. I had to actually flag down somebody to let them know I needed to get rid of the whole thing. Kind of nuts when you break it down like that. If anybody was wondering out there.
That was beautiful. I've always been wondering, but I didn't want to ask you. Also, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you just turn around all the way? 180. Yeah. Okay, you can turn around.
Oh, man. Look at you. We're not sponsored by the captain,
I filled out my payroll
for this.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking, we don't make a profit
Like
on this show.